616, what's up? Gang, gang, family, we are family. Getting up there. Okay. We still moving on and trucking on and doing what we gotta do. Yeah, was looking at a video and it was talking about the subconscious mind and the conscious mind, unconscious, conscious mind. I'm gonna show the video in a minute. But I remember I was eating some pomegranates. Super fast about y'all, sorry. And how y'all doing? And I was eating some pomegranates, and the pomegranates, they brought out some things that were stuck in the back of my head in my archives. And I didn't even realize it. Can't exactly pinpoint what they were at this time. As a matter of fact, I did it 3 times. I'm not saying it's going to work for everybody, but I needed to purge that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad I did, to get to free your mind. It's all about freeing your mind. And because what he talks about in this video, he's talking about exactly that. And it says the name of it is your success door is locked. So why, if you haven't reached your full potential, why you haven't got over things that don't serve you anymore, whatever it may be for you, let me see, I'm trying to skip to exactly, because his wife, it started off with his, he was talking about the mind, and his wife was saying about how he got panicked. They went on a vacation, and his wife was getting a spa. She was free. She cool and chilling, getting a massage, the whole 9 yards. So he didn't want to do all that. So he went and lay down, and all of a sudden he heard a bunch of noise, and he opened to see that the police were arresting 2 people, and it triggered him from his childhood or something in his past life. And it made him nervous, so he started getting panicky, and he started going to look for his wife. Where's she at? Where's my wife? She okay with, he started, and he realized that it was from past trauma, because we all do things from past trauma, and I don't know if y'all believe in past reincarnation, stuff like that. A lot of tarot readers do that, talk about that, and I found that out myself by getting off into tarot. Reading and studying different things. I didn't just leave it at that. I studied for myself. Always study for yourself. You know what I'm saying? If you have any question or you're questioning things, question things for yourself. But anyway, we're gonna listen to a little what he's saying. Hopefully y'all can hear him. I didn't want to start from right from the beginning. It's like 40 minutes.
System holds valuable and wonderful. Let it all fall down, he said. Let it all tumble down.
So
beautiful churches. He said nothing but a pile of rocks. Let it all fall down.
Hold on, y'all. We got all kind of distractions. You see, they don't want you to know things. I might have to narrate it. Let's wait till this pass. Yeah, if y'all, I don't have members only yet on here. Private, some things you might want to talk about privately. I'll try to go ahead and make a members only later. But I have one on LIAS magazine. You can see that down the community board, where they have, you can go down and see the other channels the person has. And we're putting things on my other channels too. Our Ancestors, HM Products, and Hey Shorty. Well, Hey Shorty, I started talking to, I've been wanting to do this, things are kind of little, out of sorts with me right now, but I will say, wait, why don't I try to give some of my, advice as much as I possibly can. People that have been in jail, just getting out of jail. Okay, it's going on. Let's see if we can get something in.
Because he had contempt for the tradition. But here's the point that you've got to understand. And this is the most magnificent thing of all.
down on yourself.
You're locked in the cellar, and there's a deadbolt marked on it, and very few of us know how
William Donahue.
open the door to let all of that crap out. Very hard. Because it's important to understand something. The same power that brings bad fortune brings good. It's not a different power. There's only one power. It's not a question of the power. It's a question of how you use the power. Look at me. Understand something. What choice do you have but to take what I say to you? Where are you going in your life? Getting older? Things start to run down? Where are you going? What's your direction? What are the possibilities? If you start to take into you what Jesus said, what Krishna said, what Buddha said, what I'm saying to you, if you take into this, then the future is unlimited. The possibilities are astral. Otherwise, you know what your future holds. If you take into yourself what the religionists tell you, then you can look forward to something supposedly happens at a golden gate after you die. Nothing now, after you die. If you take this power, which is electrical power, and you put it into the hands of an electrician, you put it into the hands of somebody who studies the power, understands the power, then they can light up the world. You put it in my hands, and I'll burn the building down in 5 minutes. Why? Because I don't understand the power. It's not power is evil. It's when you touch the power, and you don't understand what it is that you misuse it. So a person can use an automobile to drive to visit somebody at the hospital or to bring chocolates to their aunt who lives in Chicago. Another person can use the same automobile to rob a bank. It's not the automobile. It's those who are using it. And that's why if you look with me, and I forgot to write the page down, so somebody tell me where it is. Isaiah 45. What page is that in the Blue Bible? Isaiah chapter 45. 609, page 609. Okay? Isaiah chapter 45. And look what it says. Something that I very few Christians have ever seen, very few religionists have ever seen. But God makes the statement in Isaiah 45, verse 7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create.
Sorry for the airplane, y'all.
And the unfortunate thing is, let's say if all of us were to go down to the key for everything that the government has put in there that was wrong? Where's the key? Everything that your friends have put in there that is wrong. And all of that stuff is festering in there. Take a look at page 847 in your Bible. Go to Luke chapter 11. Luke chapter 11, page 847 in your Bible. And then Jesus says in Luke chapter 11, verse 52, woe unto you lawyers, he's talking biblical scholars, you have taken away the key of knowledge. Why? Because you entered not in yourselves. And then that monitoring in, you enter. In other words, what Jesus Christ just said, by entering within yourself, you take the key to unlock the door and let all of this right now, it's locked. And everything is done. And if you study Carl Jung, you study Sigmund Freud, you find this is the location of your problem. And you don't even know that. Because the subconscious mind is the key. Do you know what the subconscious mind does? It never sleeps. When you dream out of the subconscious mind. It never sleeps. It never forgets. It remembers everything that you've forgotten. It never forgets a thing. And a psychiatrist can take your subconscious mind right back to the beginning. Sometimes you walk down the street and you smell something.
So closer to a little bit more.
Instantly you're transported back to your man's house or your grandma's
Might have to move the cord in the middle.
The people surround you.
All right.
You can feel the house. You can feel everything. You can see leaves on a lawn, on the front lawn, or the smell of the water hitting the grass at night, and you're back somewhere many, many years ago, and because it's all stored here, it's never forgotten. Everything you've ever heard, everything you've ever learned, everything that's ever been told to you is accepted as fact and stored in the subconscious mind. The most powerful instrument in the universe is the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is only 10%. And the thing is that everything that goes into the subconscious that causes the problem comes from the conscious. Somebody tells you something, it goes in there and it finds a place to dwell and grow in there. Somebody teaches you something. Somebody frightens you. It all goes from here, your conscious mind, and then it goes into the subconscious mind. And when it goes into the subconscious mind, you forget it. But your subconscious doesn't. So, a situation happens. See, this is only 10% of this is the key of tithing. This is why God said it is so important that you tithe. I need you to give that 10%. I need you to turn that off. Because as long as you leave this active, all of the fear, all of the hate, all of the discouragement, all of the depression is going to come flying in here and root itself in the Garden of Eden. And the Garden of Eden is going to be filled with weeds and all ugly things growing in it. This here conscious mind has good things. You help people with it, don't you? Sometimes say, they're gonna help the people with Hurricane Andrew. That's coming out of the conscious mind. That's a good thing. Has a lot of bad things. And it's called in the Bible, in the book of Genesis, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And it says, don't eat from that tree. Go to Eden at the east, to the right side. Eat from there. But this here, first of all, has to be reprogrammed now. We'll get into that. See, because who's the servant here? Look at the size of the subconscious mind. Look at the size of the conscious mind. And the fact is that the servant is the subconscious. The master is this little insignificant conscious mind. The tiny little conscious mind is the master. And this is the amazing thing. The greatest power in the universe does exactly what it is told by the little insignificant 10%. It obeys everything that comes from here. And if you tell this that you're sick, it will fester, it will find a root, and it will blossom into a little tree of sickness, and it will grow. Because it believes everything you tell it. And in the same way, if you tell it you're not, you can then start on your way.
doing a reading. Here I come.
It starts triggering out of the subconscious mind. This is where visualization comes from Dr. Bernie Siegel. This is where visualization comes from Dean Ornish. They're telling something that really isn't true, and the subconscious mind thinks it is true, so the subconscious mind starts doing things as if it is true, and all the hormones start flowing. It doesn't know the difference thing. It doesn't know that it's not being told the truth, so it starts reacting. So now you can see why something has to happen. Look at page 928 in the Bible. Look at the book of Romans. Go to Romans chapter 12. Romans chapter 12 and verse 2. And be not conformed to this world. This world is right over here on the left side, folks. It's the conscious mind. But be transformed by the renewing of your mind. In other words, what this here is a computer, and you got to put in a new floppy disk. You can't change it. You can't go to your computer and lay hands on it. You can't go to your computer and read the Bible to it. You can't go to your computer and sing Amazing Grace. You got to reprogram it. And the most magnificent computer in the world is sitting right between your ears, and you've got to reprogram it because it is filled with information. It is filled with coded messages. These things are growing into the things that are torturing you and causing you the problems that you have in your life. The problems in your life and in my life are not being caused by anything out there. They're being caused by everything in here. And it's been stockpiled. Nobody wants to be subjected to the negativity. Nobody wants to be subjected to the hurting. Nobody wants to be subjected to the sickness. But the point is, we don't even realize that behind this veil is the answer to all of that, to ridding ourselves of all of that. The mechanism. But you see, the point is, you say, why do I hate this job? It's been ordered for you to hate that job from within. It's not that you're told to hate it. It's programmed in there. Why doesn't anybody like me? Why don't I like anybody else? It's all programmed in there. Behind this veil are orders that come out of the subconscious that dictate to your exactly what you're going to do. You've placed it all in there, and now it's all going to come back to you. This is the way it's going to be. We get very unhappy. And then what do we do when we're unhappy? We make everybody else unhappy. You know? Sometimes when the nurse is miserable, you realize how unhappy that makes me when the nurse is acting up? Huh? You know what I'm talking about? You get in your house? Okay. See, this is your, come on, this is your opportunity.
Who's been so unhappy the last couple of days?
I got sick. I got sick. You cooked the other night, remember? I had a little virus the last few days, you know? And I was miserable. I was miserable. And this is what happened. The nurse made me some, what?
I made you chicken and sweet potatoes, the two best things for you.
Let's say an unwanted child. An unwanted child has all of this that's told to him, filter in here, find its way into the subconscious. He grows. He's forgotten about it. It's not forgotten here.
Sorry,
in that subconscious mind at an early age. In other words, when you scream at your kids, and when you program all this negativity into the minds of children, it's going to grow and it's going to come back. Yes, exactly what it is. Because you've forgotten the whole thing. Your conscious mind forgets it. Oh, he's a rapist. Why? Serial killer. Why? There's all these horrible antisocial things. Why? Everybody forgets. Nobody remembers because it's not remembered over here. But remember, whatever negativity, whatever horror you put into the mind of a child or anybody else is never forgotten in the subconscious mind. Never. There was a story of a lady that she got married and she would go to the kitchen and whenever she would cook a meal, she'd get a violent headache. And they couldn't figure out, they did all of the tests on her, they did brain scans on her, all these types of things, there was nothing wrong with her. And so she went to a psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist took her back in a past life regression or whatever it was, took her back to the time she was a little child, maybe 2 or 3 years old, and found out that her mother was holding her in her arms, and her mother was cooking something, and the stove exploded, and the child dropped on her head. She had forgotten, she never knew anything about that. And so what happened? The subconscious triggered. Every time she went to the stove and she started cooking on the stove, the subconscious triggered this fear and a headache. And how was it found out? It was found out by a psychiatrist delving deep into the subconscious mind to see, what had happened when she was a little child. Something that's long ago forgotten here. Do you realize what I'm telling you? Do you realize that each one of us then, all of a sudden, is going to start to have some kind of antisocial, anti-personal behavior, and we're going to say, I don't know what's the matter on us. What the heck's the matter with this person? Remember, nobody's going to know that seed was set buried itself deep into the subconscious. Yes, sir. Yeah, so many times the psychiatrists have said, act out your anger, the anger that you have locked inside, that you're suppressing. And this is what rapists do. They act it out. They're sociopaths, is what they call them. And they have anger that's held there inside. And all their lives, a lot of people hold that anger. But that's a carnal type of anger they're asking you to release. It's not into the subconscious that Bill's talking about. Okay. The point that he's making, I think, and I hope he's making, is no matter what you act out will only change it for the moment. There has got to be deep, metaphysical, spiritual, Christ type of, Buddhic type of work to reprogram this. We've got to go with Jesus and take that key. And this stuff has got to get out of here. And the only way you can get that out of there is by opening the door up here and allowing that, which is the higher divine mind, to start pushing that out until finally it's gone. It won't work any of it. There's no other way to do it. Because no matter how much even counseling you get, as long as that door is locked, all of that stuff is staying. And then that's the problem. So, many people fail constantly. Maybe you're one of them. Everything you try to do, nothing works. Poverty's always at the door. And what's programmed? The code buried deep in your subconscious from your parents, from your school, from your teacher, from God knows who, is you're a failure. You'll never make anything out of your life. You'll never amount to anything in your life. And that's been programmed into you from here. I don't know where it came from. You don't know where it came from. Think back to what might have came from. Maybe it came from your mother or your father. Maybe it came from somebody in your family. Maybe it came from a school teacher. Maybe it came from a police. God knows what. Maybe it came from a boss, the first boss. Whoever said it, said deep inside of you there was a root that went sinking itself into the subconscious tunnels of your mind saying you're a failure. And every time that you try in some way to figure out what the heck, why can't I ever make anything right? Why can't I amount to anything? Why can't I do this? Why can't I be successful? Why am I always failing? Because you're programmed to fail. You're programmed to fail. And until that programming is driven out of that subconscious mind, you'll never change.
Hey.
The subconscious mind is programmed that you cannot make it, and it will see that you don't. That's why when Jesus Christ speaks up, that's why it is so important when he says to you, seek first the kingdom Who's to stop you? If I said, if Reverend Kennedy said, oh, they sent you God and all of this stuff, Jesus Christ is the one who sent you God. And just think to yourself, instead of I'm a sinner, instead of I'm a failure, instead of I can't do this and I can't do that and I can't do the other thing, if you close your eyes and just say to yourself, I am God, I am God, I am God, and then look up and say, what in the world could possibly defeat you or your life now? Nothing. But once you find out that I am and God are one and the same thing, then what do you need the system for? What do you need the organization for? What do you need the religions for? And that's what scares them. They're not in this to set you free. They're in this to structure themselves as the great control. And many sickness is coded in here.
My name is Sophia Ritchie Green.
This is coded in here. It's hard to be well when the computer constantly says you feel lousy. I sometimes I get, between this and something work and everything, I get to the point where I say to myself, geez, I'm tired, I feel. And I'm really not. But it's all coded, it's all put deep into the computer, and it's telling me, hey, you're sick, you don't feel good, you feel lousy. Where's it coming from? It's coming from stuff we put in ourselves. Lonely people. Many people are very lonely, they don't have any friends. But you know what? You've got programmed deep in here, don't trust anybody. Everybody's out to really take you for what they can get. Huh? Watch them. Always keep your eye over your shoulder. Nobody cares about you. Nobody ever did anything for you. Nobody's ever going to do anything for you. You're going to have to do it for yourself. And all of that is programmed. You become a very lonely person. Yeah. So you've got to rise above the programming, because you have to understand something. The subconscious is the great creator. The problem is it's going to create exactly what it is programmed to create. That's what meant by Paul. He says, I thank God for Jesus Christ, which is the higher mind. With the mind, which is the lower programming, or the higher programming, I serve God, but with the flesh, which is the lower programming, I serve the law of sin, which is the emotion. So that's the bad part. What's the good part? The good part is you can remove the bad programs. Okay? You can open this up. You can remove the bad programs in the subconscious. You allowed the negative programming to get in. Now you can allow the negative programming to get out. That's the good part. That's why this works. That's why if you want to get off your rear end, get out of that couch, come down here, and thumb your nose at the system, thumb your nose at the religions, thumb your nose at the churches, open yourself to the story of Christ, open to yourself to what He tried to get you to understand. Then you come to the place programming will change. Then you open yourself to the story.
Stop. Wait till that pass. Make some notes. Okay.
Christ, open to yourself to what He tried to get you to understand. Then you'll come to the place where the programming will change. Then you'll come to the place where the subconscious will receive the flow of that reprogramming to get in that which is new. And the chief culprit to this whole thing is a four-letter word: fear. Even to the point that you have never heard a religious person discuss your mind. You have gone to church all of your life. You've never heard a pastor. You've never heard a minister. You've never heard a priest. They've never discussed your mind. It's off limits. In fact, they say God is in my heart. They always hear. Not to the center. That's off limits. They're afraid of it. In fact, they'll tell you that if you go into the realm of your own mind, you'll open up devils. That's what they'll tell you. Because it's fear. And you know why that is? Because the negativity of religion and Christianity has programmed people to be afraid of themselves. Where are you ever going if you're afraid of yourself?
Right.
yourself. If you can't, and you know what's been on television, that this humanism, this new age stuff is nothing but worship of self. Finally, say, hey, I am something. Look at me, strutting. Why, you should see me when I go to Key West with the nurse. I suck this in for 2 weeks. Walk around the pool. Say to the nurse, I gotta go to the menu. I go to the menu, get another, suck it in, I strut. Because I am something. See, that's the beauty of this. Jesus Christ never came to tell this world how great he was. He came to this world to say how great you are. And that's why he said, you are the light of the world. The kingdom's within you. You know what Jesus said? He said, the things that I've done, you can do better than me. I say, you ain't kidding. He never flew in a plane. Right. He never went to a Jimmy Buffett concert. What are you talking about? I am known. There's a guy I can follow off the end of a cliff because Jesus Christ was the guy that said, hey, I'm here to put that light on in you and show everybody the God who dwells within you. Don't hang on me. Don't pray to me. Don't ask me. Go right to him. You got carte blanche. Go right to the source. The source, he said, is in you. That's what will set you free. That's why this meditation is so important, because all of this fear, this culprit, comes out of your family, out of your circumstance. And what you've got to do to start the reprogramming, and next week we'll finish this off with reprogramming the mind. But what you've got to do is you've got to turn away from the thoughts that have been coming from the outside. As Jesus said, take no thought. And you got to start turning to the thoughts that are coming from the inside. And you do that in meditation. And whether you use Kitaro or Halpern, or whether you use Om or Buddha or whatever you do, start listening to that which is within and no longer be listening to that which is without. As it says in Jeremiah 6, get your ears circumcised. Cut away all of that that's coming in, because that's what has caused you to feel. That's why it's made you miserable. And when you do that, then you'll realize that in Matthew 5:14, Jesus Christ said, you are the light of the world.
You are the light of the world.
That's what you change. Negative thoughts about sinner. I am God. And you'll freak out everybody upstairs because they can't understand what you're talking about. There's only one mind. There's only one spirit. We're done, I promise you. Let me just tell you something. The creative power of the universe is inside of it. It's an eternal power. There is only every book that has ever been written has been written by the same author. Every building that has ever been built has been built by the same engineer. The creation happened because the conscious mind of the builder, the conscious mind of the engineer did not prevent it by negative subconscious programming. And so that which was within was able to explode in a monument. But it's it's going to manifest itself is just the opposite. Because you know that everything they were helping have created this cover. The Garden of Eden is filled with weeds. Huh? So, what does it say? It says you have been made caretaker of the vineyard. You have been made to prune the vineyard. Now you can get into the vineyard and you can watch the vineyard and you can start to plant trees. You can start to plant the tree of life. And all of these things will start to grow in the vineyard and you'll start to be a completely different person. Because that subconscious has been filled with failure, and it is locked in by the conditions that you had no control over. But now, if nothing else you take from this place, you go out of here knowing, yes, I can change. Yes, I can make it different. And you get your rear end in here on Tuesday night, and you hit this floor, and you start going on, and you start playing serious with this God who lives within you, and you see that gate, and you'll see that lock, that double-bolted lock, rusted, falling off, and you'll see that gate swing open, and you'll see all that garbage which has been hurting you all of your life start to stream out of that graveyard, and instead of that, you'll start to see trees flowing. The desert shall bloom like a rose, and all of these horrible, barren things will be turned into springs of water, and all of that which has held you back and made you a lesser person will be gone, and you'll be motivated in this new age into the essence of what God has meant for you to be. That's what you got to do. And the only one who is able and capable of doing it is you. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, to be the best that you can be. Okay. I'm gonna start from the where you stopped out. Reiterate. Yeah, that's what you can be. That's what it's all about. See, subconscious, like you were saying, now let's look up subconscious. Sub. What does sub mean? What does sub mean?
Here's the definition of sub. Informal.
Submarine.
A submarine.
Under. Beneath. What's hidden, right? Unless you go on the sea and see the submarine or it comes up to the surface. So when the things that are programmed, putting us from whatever happened in life, comes to the surface, then we start having all these negative thoughts. Okay. And then plant the trees of life in you. When you realize that and you start feeling better, he says, I can. You know, I think I can. I think I can. I know I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Ain't no think, ain't no can't, ain't no maybe. I can do this. He said all of them that created anything know they can do that, right? And they did it, right? Yes, I can. You are the light of the world. See, people be worshiping things. He didn't say worship me. Go back and read the scriptures he said. If Jesus didn't say worship me, he's giving you advice on how to live here. That's what he came for, to show you that. Don't let the negative in, he says. Outside work, meditate. Go inside, listen to it inside. Okay? Well, you know you ugly. Am I? Who told me that? You ain't gonna never be nothing. Your family never made it. They never went to college. Okay, why has that got to be me? You're hooked on drugs. Before I start on that. Yeah, setting yourself free, freeing your mind from this stuff. Like I say, don't pray and worship anything. Because you are God. I know they're gonna have issues with that. Came to tell you how great you are and do better things than he did. Didn't he say that? I am something. I can accomplish this. What am I presenting to the world? You know? Church try to scare you with the tactics because they have an agenda. Drugs, smoking. I like smoking because I remember my grandma used to smoke a pipe and I enjoyed that. I use herbs and stuff. I use a little tobacco, but eventually I'm gonna have to leave it alone. Why am I on this? Have you enjoying it, or is this a family curse, or what happened in your life made you do that? Things you have to ask yourself. Okay, yeah, so you can be the best that you can be. Reprogramming the bad. Okay, I'm trying to mark off what I said. Yeah, like I said about family sicknesses, believing, oh, they had high blood pressure. I used to have that problem on my last daughter's dad. My mom had high blood pressure. He still didn't have it. He didn't have no diabetes or anything, okay? But he was believing that, and he caught it. Don't trust. I can't trust nobody. And what they come from, what happened in the subconscious. Meditate and go back into your mind and try to. He said the psychiatrist can hypnotize yourself, but you can go back into your own mind as well and figure out what happened. Past life flash before our eyes when we're meditating or asleep or going to a sleep. Jesus is the higher mind. He wants you to go to higher heights than ever before, than he could ever go. Um, yeah, I am God. What can defeat me? Nothing. Can nothing defeat me? Why I'm letting these things program me to think to be little of myself, and that's all for their agenda. I'm talking about teachers. Teacher tried to tell my daughter, she was about 8, she wasn't gonna be none. She not smart. How do you tell an 8-year-old something like that? And then my son, he was different. He was, just was different. She wanted him because he was good looking. She wanted him to dress good. It was a young teacher. You know, do this and do your hair like this. He had his own style. He changed from getting a cut. He wanted to grow it long. she wanted. She even had the kids in the classroom talking about him, laughing at him. I know I took care of that, right? Then another teacher came by and she started saying he was failing in class. She was trying to get everything attention to put him down, so I guess she wanted to mess with him. I don't know. So another teacher, we was talking outside. She came. She said, "Wait a minute. Your son is great. There's nothing wrong with your son. He's allowed to be himself. He's very smart and intelligent." You know what I'm saying? So you gotta watch. Then that could be anger building inside. You know what I'm saying? And I try to, I told my son all the positive I could possibly tell him. You know, and she was trying to program that in his mind. I said, if you look at my other channel, I talk about that all the time. How the evilness put people in place to make you not feel good about yourself. Okay, why is something tragic, depressing you? Something tragic happened in your life. How are you gonna handle that? How are you gonna put that? You know, um, how you gonna deal with that? Because you got to deal with it. You can't keep pushing back to the mind. Like I said when I first started, had so many things in the back of that archive, in the back of my mind, and that computer chip and that database and that backup file. Till, because our computer is the mind. That's how they designed it. Y'all know that. And till I had to realize that I was sabotaging myself for the things that people have told me through my life. I'm still working on that. I'm still working on that. I'm not there yet. Depressed, anxiety. Why does money make me nervous? You know what I'm saying? I used to could save, not really. I used to have work 2 and 3 jobs in order to have what I wanted. As soon as I get some money, it's like I'm nervous and I can't appreciate it. So where does that come from? I'm still searching for that. Where does that come from? How we talk to ourselves, kids, spouse, okay, a boomerang effect. Some children might keep it in, but they're keeping it in. So later on, they're going to explode if they don't know how to transmute that. When you don't know how to transmute that and talk to them better, we call them all kind of names where they came from. Who did that to you? So I was listening to this man. He said he had a good family. He wasn't treated bad. So where did this devil child come from? Was it a past relative from a long time ago? Was it a program from a life before? Because he said I heard 2 of them say that they were serial killers. And they said they didn't have a bad child. That's another thing to explore. How does that happen? Who put that child there in that woman's stomach? You know, that child came programmed to be evil. Um, yeah. Serial killers, same thing. Put in the archives, from the archives, so they can't take no more. Like I talk about, it's supposed to be green like grass growing inside of your brain. Fresh. All the negativity is making it black, and that's when people become a serial killer because it's so black and so dark. They don't know how to go with all of these things, negative things in their mind. Till they're going to react outwardly, feeling unwanted and unloved. You know, whatever happened to mom and dad? Why did they throw you away? Why did this happen in your life? Misery loves company. I'm going to make you feel like I feel inside. I'm going to torture you. I'm going to rape you. I'm going to do whatever, chop you up, whatever the deal is, because I feel that way. Or I seen that. One guy met a person who taught him how to do. A cousin taught him how to rape men and do all this kind of stuff. Then chop them up or whatever. So cousin taught him, he liked it. Cousin kept him on drugs, knew what type of drugs to make him react that way. Um, he talked about the serpent being a conscious mind, right? So the serpent is the feminine, right? Let's see if we can find it. The serpent being a conscious mind. Fertility or creative life force. Okay. As snakes shed their skin through slaughter, whatever they do, they are symbols of rebirth, transformation, immortality, and healing. It's that snake that's around the earth. Ourobors is symbol of eternity and continued renewal of life. So he said it's supposed to be transformation. Okay, it's taking what's left in the subconscious, and the conscious is what is the conscious mind? Clearing out all of the breathing. The thoughts and feelings that a person is aware of having at any one time. Some memories can ease into the conscious mind, while some remain deep in the subconscious and are rarely accessed. So the subconscious is what we need to. Like we talked about that. The underneath that's hidden. Conscious mind, getting clearing and transformation is serving the conscious mind. Emotional. Okay, why are you emotional? Subconscious, going deep. Lying to yourself, lying to others, keeping lies, covering up what you do or what you say, feeling stuck, you know. My home life, chaos. When I grew up, there was chaos all in my house, Noise all the time, all the time. But I wanted peace when I moved out. I didn't want people coming in and out of my house. I didn't want all to have kids and then their friends, but I didn't like that in and out, in and out. I mostly hung with friends who some did have that happen, and a lot of them did not have that happen in and out their house because of what happened in my childhood. I did the opposite. Some people can do the same, and then you might not be happy. Are you happy in the chaos? That's another thing. Why are you happy in the chaos? Because you grew up with chaos. You expect it. You feed on it. You need a rescue. Eventually you're gonna burn yourself out. Especially if it's causing some issues with things. People being all these energies all around you, your space. And some good, some bad, but most of them going to be bad if it's chaos, right? Chaos helps you grow too, but you got to know where to put it. God is both the God and a goddess. So, it's saying God is saying goddess as well. Evil, dark and light. So that's masculine and feminine, right? The right is a woman, the left is a man. See, people, they misconstrue, make us scared of the deep things that are inside of us that's been put there, programmed there, and also we got that, and what is it? And God put there by the reptilians to mess with our brain whenever they feel like it. But if you on a high vibration, they can't do nothing with you. They're confused. So that causes a lot of looking, watching, you know, uh, stuff like that. Bring people into your life that's there to harm you in some type of way. So you got to be careful of that too. Feeding on your insecurities. Um, yeah, getting rid of all of those things that don't serve you anymore. You know what I'm saying? You don't need that. What happened at childhood? Okay, it happened. Process that, grieve that, whatever you got to do. But keep it moving. Don't stay there and visit it. Don't stay there and keep it where it's knocking you from going to your next adventure. You know, being fearless. I'm protected. I'm already aware of what may or may not happen. I'm not going to dwell on that. I'm going to protect myself, of course, but I'm not going to stay stuck. You know what I'm saying? Inside of that mindset from things that happened back then that's going to trigger me now. I need to face that. Okay, this happened then. That don't mean it's going to happen now. Now I can create it to happen now. I don't want to create it to happen now. So I'm moving on to my bigger and best things in life. You know what I'm saying? So I hope this helps y'all. I thought I'd share that with us. Yeah, more seasoned. All right, like, subscribe, share, and comment. I really appreciate it. And check out my other channels. All right, love y'all. Bye. Tell me if y'all want a members only. Okay, we can talk more in depth. You can have on your opinion. I'm also looking for colleagues. I'm looking for people who would like to have their own videos on my channels. As long as it's in the guidelines. And eventually as everything grow, could get paid for it. And hopefully these things come through and I can be able to give you pay for it. But it's all about building and sharing. All right, love y'all.